Hello everyone, this is Corey Mitchell with TradeThatSwing.com. In this video, I am going to go over getting set up on Forex Tester 5 for day trading. I have a Euro USD day trading course. I use this software to practice the strategies, and of course you can use the same methodology or getting this set up. Whether you use the strategies I use or not, this will get you set up for day trading. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is when you launch the program, we're going to start a new project. And before we do that, I just want to point something out. I'm just going to pull up the Forex Tester website here. And if we scroll down a little bit, there is a section where it talks about the data. So you can get free data, which is okay, but I highly recommend for day trading that you get a super data subscription. There's a couple reasons for this. It's going to give you tick data, meaning I trade on a 1 minute chart, so those 1 minute bars are going to unfold second by second as the price was moving, so it replicates real-time trading. That's what happens in the real market. You don't just get a completed 1 minute candle showing up on your chart. You're watching that chart, and we can enter during those candles. So we have this free floating spread and tick data. Another thing I really like is that you also get the news that was coming out on that day, economic news such as CPI data, Fed announcements, interest rate announcements, those sorts of things. So that's really helpful, because if you download data from 5 years ago, you're not going to know when the news announcements happened on that day, but Forex Tester will show you when those news announcements occurred. So really important to get the super data. If you're going to be trading for more than a year or two, I recommend the lifetime package. They have a sale going on when I'm recording this, so it's half price, and that's your one-time cost. And whatever country you're in, it's going to show up in your own currency. So that's going to be your one-time cost. You'll never have to pay anything again. So that's a huge savings over going for a monthly or annual subscription. As you can see, even if you had this for 2 years, it pays to get the lifetime subscription. So that being said, we want that tick data. And we're going to start by creating a new project. And I usually call mine Euro USD, and then I'll put in a month and a year. So let's say I wanted to download June of 2020. You can put in your initial deposit or however much you would be having in the account. You can choose whatever you want. Then we are going to click Euro USD if that's what you're trading. Of course, if you were trading something else, you would select that. And we are going to go 2020. We have June, that's 6/01. And you could, of course, download more data than just a month, but I usually just download a month at a time. And then we'll get the drop-down menu going, and we'll pick the last day. So this is why we want that tick data as well. You're going to need that to have this option selected. Nothing really to worry about in this. You want the free floating spread. And we're going to go next. And so the data is downloaded. I set this to GMT -5. That is New York time. And I do have daylight savings time. We don't want to start testing right after creation. That means candles are going to start forming right away. So you can uncheck that and then create. It's going to generate the data for you. And of course, there's going to be nothing here yet. So what we're going to have to do is go to jump to, and let's just say the first day. I don't know what the first day of June in 2020 is. You can look it up on your calendar going back to 2020. Let's just start out at 3. I usually start trading at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to set it to just a couple minutes before that. And boom, we are ready to go. The next thing I do is I want to have this set up like I would for live trading. So I like to scale my y-axis. If we pull up, I go to matif.net, Forex Trading Tools, Forex Volatility, click on that, and you'll have a historic chart here of what volatility was like at given time. So in June, we're looking at about 80 pips or so, 70 to 80 pips, 90 at the high point. So around 90 pips should be good for our y-axis. So we can scale this down. You can see at 1240, so that's only about 30 pips of action. $112.62, $111.30. So that's just about 100 pips or so right there. It's about 90 right now. So that's a good amount of y-axis. One thing you're going to want to do too, once you start a new project, is you're going to go to Data Center. Now I've already downloaded some Euro USD data, but you're going to want to go to Change Properties, select the one that you're trading, Change Properties, and the main one here is put in your own spread. So if you have a 1.2 pip spread, typically you're going to put in 12. So this is fractional pips. If you have a 1 pip spread, you're going to put in 10. If you have usually about a half a pip spread, you're going to put in 5. I usually have a pretty low spread, about 2.2 pips. So I'm going to put in 2 there. You can also put in your leverage. And everything else should be fine to leave as it is. So that's how we get going. An important step, you can also go to Open Projects and you'll see months that you have downloaded. So we just downloaded this and you can click on them. So this is if you wanted to go back and retrade a certain month that you've already downloaded, or you can just download a bunch of months and then click Open to trade it. Once you've started a project, so those are each projects. I usually have them broken down by month. And then you can go in and you can delete them, open them up. If you want to totally restart a project, maybe you'd already traded it in the past, you want to retrade it, just go restart. It'll say, hey, this is going to erase everything. Say, yeah, that's fine. And then you'll be able to start that project from scratch. You'll notice here we have a speed. We're going to reduce this for when we start trading. We're going to go to right down to 1. This is going to be like a real time. Bars are going to form by the minute. If you go to the next one, it's about 40 seconds per candle. The next one's about 30, 20. And once you get into this middle, bars are going to form extremely fast, like 1 every second. And the further you go, the faster they're going to move. You can see everything. We'll go through quite a few of these things, but you can set your time frame. I always trade on the minute chart. You have graphic elements. The main ones here are text labels. That's if you want to put little notes on your chart. I also use the rectangles and the trend lines. The indicators I don't really use too much, but there are some if you wanted them. We also want to get our chart set up. We don't need volume. I don't use volume for Forex day trading. And if you want to customize this area that you have to the right of the candles, you can do that here. So offset just gives a little bit of room to the right, but not too much. On charts, you also have these other options. Most of these I just leave as is. If once you start this price moving, you can change this auto scroll. Let's say you wanted to look back in history a bit. If this auto scroll is selected, it's always going to go right back to the current candle. And so that can be a little frustrating. So that's how you toggle that. So I already covered jumping to a price. Just click go to. If this day was done, you'd already traded it, then you could just go to the next day. 4, 7, 55. If nothing shows up, that maybe it was a holiday, so then you can go back in your calendar on your desktop and see, okay, when is the next Monday? Jump to that day and time. When you're at the total end of the project and I just downloaded June, so we're going to be going into July. If you go to trade July 1st, you punch it in and it'll say no data because you haven't downloaded that day. So then you would go new project, download the data. So it looks like we are all set up, ready to go on our trades. Just like MetaTrader, along the bottom you have your open positions. So if we get a chance to open a trade, I'll open a trade. Pending orders, I'm not going to see those too much for day trading because I'm using market orders to get in. But if you had, say, set a limit order or a stop order up here, a limit order down here, or something like that, then you would see those pending. So the price would have to move to those. Account history, you're going to see any trades that you've taken on this project. So I usually just have it sitting on the home. None of these others do I ever use too much data. The only thing that we did in there was the change properties to get your spread. Charts, I don't use too much in this because what I use is on the home screen. So we're ready to go now. So I am going to click resume, and that is going to start this price moving. Now again, we're a few minutes before I typically start trading, and I did that for a reason because I just booted up Forex Tester. And in order to place trades quickly, I'm going to use this Forex speed up. It sometimes takes a minute or two to load. And what this replicates is in MetaTrader, if you right click on your chart, there'll be a little option to select market depth. That's going to bring up a little window where you can input your stop loss, your position size, and your target. And that makes it really easy to just click buy or sell. It's going to send out a market order, and those stop loss and target orders are going to go out with it. This Forex speed up is going to do the same thing. So it does take a little while to load, and I find it works best when the data is already running. If it's not running, it doesn't quite sync up with the chart quite right, and we'll see if that happens, even when it's running sometimes. So we'll just wait a second. That's why like I said, give it a few extra minutes before my session starts. Just like in real trading, you want to get everything set up before so that it's ready to go when you need it. It's just taking a little longer than usual. And so this is actually that situation I was talking about. See, the bid's at 0, so it didn't sync up with the current price. So I'm just going to try it again. And usually it works. But this is the only, I think, thing I find a little bit glitchy about the software is this Forex speed up sometimes doesn't quite work as well as it should. But once it's open and working, then it works great while you're trading. So I didn't sync up again. Try a few things just to see if changing a few settings does anything. Now, and you can see your buy and sells are also blocked out. So I'm just going to pause it, resume it again. And I mean, it's kind of good that we get this error because I actually get it a fair bit. Hopefully they fix it in the future. But I do find, yeah, just kind of rebooting this a couple times, we always have a few extra minutes. You can change your balance here. Not that I'd use that too often, but if you decided, ooh, I'm never going to be trading 10,000 or I'm going to be trading way more than 10,000, then you can change your balance with that button there. There, now it's synced up. You can see that bid is moving, your buy and sell buttons are activated, and it's moving with the current price. So that's exactly what we want. And this is just going to sit wherever you want it, kind of out of the way. And same within MetaTrader, I just have my little market depth tool sitting off to the side. One thing I like about this is it's also equivalent to MetaTrader in that we can measure price moves. So you'll get a crosshair by clicking on your mouse wheel, and then you can left click on a spot and drag it to wherever you want without releasing the button. Just hold the button down, so we get our crosshair, left and drag, and then when you want to release, you just release it and it'll disappear. And that's how we can measure out our stop loss sizes. Again, you might be using different strategies, but I'm using, I measure out candle lengths to help me determine when I'm going to trade or how I'm going to trade, what my stop loss size is going to be. So this allows you to speed up, slow down. Like I said, these are different speeds. So right now, we can see we're not moving a whole lot. Kind of stuck. We were moving in a sideways range. We've really only had one bigger move. If we get the opportunity to make a trade, maybe I'll speed this up a little bit and see if something pops up that I'm interested in. Moving really slow here. This was a little bit bigger move, about 5 pips. But yeah, do we have a reversal? We just seem to kind of be stuck. So we'll let that play out for a few minutes. One thing to be aware of is that once you do have an order placed, the target and the stop loss will show up. These are a little higher than what I usually use, so I'll reset them back to what they were. You'll have your target and stop loss show up as a line on the screen, and you'll be able to move them around. We can also use the back button. And what that's going to do is if you pause, you can move back a price bar or 2 price bars, or you can move forward a couple price bars. And that's helpful too. Let's say you made a mistake. You took a trade you weren't supposed to. Maybe it's really dead in here, but you decided, you had an impulse and you said, oh, I'm going to buy it right here. And then you're instantly stopped out in this red bar. And you know it's a mistake. You know that you're not supposed to take that trade. You can rewind it. Now, you might at first think, well, that's cheating. I took that trade. Like in live trading, I can't back it up. But this is practice software. We get to go in and fix our mistakes. And what that can do, especially when you're new to trading, is it can show you how much better your results would be if you avoided those random trades. So my strategies in my course are extremely effective, but the problem that happens is that most people are taking all sorts of random trades. The pattern's not quite there, but they're trading anyway. And so it seems far off that, they might be able to have really good, speed this up so hopefully we get some. And it might seem really far off that you might be able to have really good results. But once you use a practice software like this and you can actually go in and add up how much you would have made if you just avoided all those kind of crappy impulsive trades, then you can really start to see it. And once you see it, it becomes much easier to avoid those impulsive trades because you see the profit potential if you avoid those types of things. So we can see we're just still really just chopping sideways here. So we'll see if something comes up. Anything else I can discuss while we're waiting? If you have an open position, we may have this scenario come up. The quickest way to close it is to right click on it, and then you'll get a pop-up menu and we can just close it. Had a little bit of a bigger move there, but still like pretty small, right? If you're using this as like a stop loss candle size, that would have been a 3 pip. The reward's not great. This is starting to look a little more promising. Not resume. We want to go just slow our speed down. So this is a much bigger move, right? We moved about 10 pips. We'll see what kind of... Most of these candles are around 2.2 to 2.5 pips. Speed up a little through this pullback, but ideally right now we'd be waiting for a move above this candle. We can measure it out about 2.5. 2.5, I like the 63. So this would be really nice if we actually got a trade. So this candle right here, very small at the moment, as we're reduce the speed a bit. So we don't know if that candle is going to say. And this is what I'm doing in real-time trading too. I'm measuring out these candles, and sometimes it's kind of constantly changing it based on what stop loss size I would need. And that's because I'm entering above the candle and my stop loss would go below it. So yeah, we're right around 2 pips, so my stop loss size is good. 5 pip target. We just moved 10 pips off this prior candle, so that is more than enough movement to easily make a 5 pip target. I'm risking 1% of my account. You can determine how much you risk in here. So it automatically calculates it for you. That's a little bit easier than in real time. And there we have a trigger. So it moved above the high of that candle, stop loss below. So this is where we can move our stop loss. So I actually didn't even need quite 2 pips on that one. Make sure that my target is where it's supposed to be at about 5 pips. We also had a nice move above this prior high, so an overall trend reversal to the upside. So we'll let that play out for a few minutes. Like I was talking about, you can right click on it and click close if you wanted to get out of that position. Like right now it would sell it at the current price. So that's quite handy if a trade's going against you quickly and you don't have time to get out of it. So this is what I call a trend continuation, covered in the course, Euro USD day trading course. And since we're risking 1% of the account, if that hits our target is 2.5 times as big as our stop loss. So we would make 2.5% on our account, and we'll be able to see that in our history. So we have a $10,000 account, and that's a $250 trade. So that's really, once we know how to do that, that pretty much sums up everything that we need to know about the Forex Tester 5 software for getting started. Briefly, when you start up, you're going to create a project. Then you're going to download the data. Once you've downloaded the data, make sure that you go to the data center. Make sure that your spread is set for whatever your broker is. When you start a session, you're going to go to, set whatever date you want and the time. Click search, that's going to take you to that date. Click resume. Then if you like using this little thing like I do, you're going to go to orders. Double click on this like we showed. Sometimes it takes a second and it doesn't always show the price if it looks dead and you can't use the buy and sells. Just close it and relaunch it. It tends to work better when you have the price running. So you should have already clicked resume, put your speed down to 0, and then have this going. Then by the time it loads and everything, you should be at your normal start time. My normal start time is 8 a.m. Eastern. So by the time we had that all set up, it was ready to go. Also, set your y-axis to what the daily movement is. You can use matif.net to get a historical idea of what volatility was at that time. I set my y-axis to daily average movement. I'm going to pause this for now. And yeah, that's about it. Right click to measure moves and you're pretty much good to go. Your backs and forwards can be good tools to use if you need to erase or you want to jump forward a little bit. And overall, I just hope this software really helps you to get better at identifying trades, to build your confidence, to trade in different market conditions. That's beautiful. You can download up to 20 years of data so you can see entirely different market conditions and trade in them. I find new traders, sometimes they just wait for their trading, maybe they start to get used to things, but then things change. So this is not a price chart of the Euro USD. This is how much it was moving in pips per day, and you can see it can drastically change over time. This period in early 2020, almost no movement, like 40 pips a day. So that can be very different than trading in an environment like what we had in late 2022, early 2023, where we're moving 120, 130 pips a day. Very different environments. You want to practice trading in that environment before it comes along so that you can still make money in this environment. It's the same, we're doing the exact same thing. It's just the price isn't moving as much. You're going to have to be a little bit more patient. Maybe you're only going to have 1 or 2 trades a day. Whereas over here, when it's moving a lot, you might have 3, 4 trades a day on average. Doesn't mean every day is volatile, and just like every day down here, it doesn't mean every day was quiet. You're going to have big movement days down here. You're going to have quiet movement days up here. But you want to practice trading in all these environments, and that's what I just love about this software is that you can practice all these different types of environments and get used to them before they actually happen, so that when it comes along and you're trading real money, you already know how to trade in those conditions and you're ready for them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions on Forex Tester 5, let me know. We do have a promo code below the video which gives you an additional 10% off on the Forex Tester software. So you can look below the video for that code.